Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. What has Satan been doing since the creation of the world? He's been trying to kill every man, woman, and child because they're made in the image of God. He hates that. He wants to be God, and if he can't be God, then he's going to try and destroy everything that God created. 1 Peter 5:8 says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." And that's going to play into one of the things we're going to take a look at here. Going back to this article, I did a video about it, but again, it's in the news. Playing with fire, lab made Frankenstein. You know what? By Boston University. The creation of a new recumbent at Boston University, viewed as Frankenstein virus, has raised a public uproar. This is not merely a risky gain of function on enhanced potential pandemic pathogens. It is the creation of an enhanced pandemic pathogen. There, no potential here. This is quite scary virus, and this is no longer is this in some unknown place in China, in a lab in China, which of course was said to be fake news at the time, which is now generally understood to be basically the most probable place where the original came from. But this is now being created on American soil, and likely there have been lots of things created on American soil, but this is just one of these things that we should know better about now, and we should not be playing with this at this point. But they are. In other news, by the way, it is if you've got some horses, you can go to some websites here and get some get some medicine for them if they need some medicine, and it's cheap and it's quite available. So just in case you have some livestock, chickens and pigs and that sort of thing, you might need some something like that. And like I say, it's widely available if you need to get some of that for them. This is the whole slippery slope thing. This is from New York Post talking about Canada, and I haven't seen this in on CBC or other mainstream media outlets. It might be there, but I haven't seen it. It came down to a New York Post article for me to see this. Canada expanding assisted suicide law to whom? To the mentally ill. Oh, that's right. They're going to expand it to partial birth abortions, and where the baby was born and didn't quite die from the abortion. They're expanding it to the mentally ill. They're going to expand it to the elderly who think they want to take their lives. And people have been saying this assisted suicide thing was going to be a slippery slope and it has been from the beginning, and they won't stop. They'll excuse me. They're going to go to they're going to start going to other mental trouble and disorder, and they'll move along to gender dysphoria and these sorts of things, and they're going to say it causes great mental anguish and violence and this sort of thing. Medical assistance in dying has been available in Canada since 2016, and is set to expand in March 2023, next year, couple of months, extending eligibility to those with a mental illness. Bill C-7 would allow individuals seeking MAID to apply solely on the basis of a mental disorder. Do you know what? Now, anybody who is going through puberty or something like that can claim they have a mental disorder and get medically assisted suicide. You know what the other thing is? Doctors can now suggest, if they're nefarious, they can now suggest that you or I have a mental disorder for maybe voting one way or believing something, and maybe the state can medically assist our extinction via this Bill C-7 rule. Mental disorder. Prior to the bill's passage, medically assisted death eligibility was based on having a grievous and irremediable medical condition, according to a report from the Canadian government on the practice. Creighton School of Medicine professor Charles Camasey said Wednesday on Tucker Carlson the bill would allow mature minors, whatever that means, quote unquote, mature minors to be euthanized by state doctors without the consent of the parents. So these mature minors, again, whatever that means, if they declare that they have a mental disorder, whatever that means, can be murdered at this point by the state. And they don't, and the parents don't even have to be notified about this. They're going to go after, this is the thing. Carmsey argued that MAID practices exist for several groups already. We've got homeless. We talked about it last time. It says the poor, the disabled, those with chronic pain. And then right before coming on, I researched physicians in a group of Quebec that wants to kill newborn infants. That's coming next year, he told host Tucker Carlson. So as this expands, basically it will be expanded to everybody. If there's any reason you want to die, you can go in for it. You just claim, a mental disorder, a mental anguish, whatever it may be. and then beyond that, if the state deems you have some mental disorder, and if it's in the public interest to extinguish you, they will be able to do that. That's coming, folks. Remember about the people who didn't get, in the arm? Maybe they're a menace to society. Maybe they have a mental disorder because they didn't comply. All right, so maybe they can be extinguished. In the name of public safety, health and safety, so that they're not a harm and a violent physical harm to other people around them who didn't get that. And when you talk about things like this, potentially breaking out of the lab, hey, it broke out of the lab in Wuhan. Who says it's not going to break out of the lab in Boston? This is exposenews.com, and my videos will, they're going to be taken down at some point. I'm going to be removed from YouTube at some point. You can't say anything anymore that's not according to the fact checkers. This is who to control health content on YouTube and censor everything disputing official narratives so it can manipulate public opinion. Then World Health Organization, does the Bible talk about world government? It does. World Health Organization is now taking control of content that is promoted on YouTube through a partnership with Google. The aim of the partnership is to address the widespread misinformation and disinformation. Again, who defines what misinformation and disinformation is? Well, the government. You don't get to define that. You don't get to recognize truth anymore. The government's going to tell you what truth is. The Bible said these times were coming in the last days, and folks, we're here.